did. 2 or more positives, an improvement, and did she persuade or reinforce? I'm gonna shut the door.
Nathan, our timer?
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, lady, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Dogs and cats have been living alongside humans for thousands of years. Our relationships with them started out as working ones, but the modern dog and cat is now considered our companion. And for many of us, our dogs and cats are even family. I conducted a survey here in this class, and of the 18 people in here that have owned dogs or cats, 94% of you considered your pets to be family. So naturally, we want the very best for our pets, and that should include a healthy, well-balanced diet. And for most of us, our idea of a healthy diet is going to the pet store and buying the highest quality kibble that we can possibly afford. Excuse me. Sorry. But the truth of the matter is that despite our best intentions, dry kibble diets are unnatural for our dogs and cats and contribute to serious health problems. Instead, we should be feeding our dogs and cats raw and fresh diets that their bodies are intended to digest. So today I'm going to be telling you why dry kibble diets are unhealthy for dogs and cats. I'm going to talk about how dogs and cats are biologically designed to eat raw meat diets. I will address the opposition, which claims raw diets are bad for pets and their owners, and then I will refute this with some common sense. And then I'll end with I will end with a brief look at a recent study that proved that dogs are biologically designed to eat diets high in raw meat. By the end, I hope to convince you to rethink what you're feeding pets and to stop feeding them dry kibble. So right now you might be thinking, what's the big deal? Hasn't dry kibble been around forever? Well, the truth of the matter is kibble is actually a more recent invention. According to the Pet Food Institute, the first commercially made dog food was made in the 1860s. Commercially made cat food wasn't made until the early 1900s, and it was actually considered a luxury to buy your cat food until the 1920s. Before that, dogs were fed scraps of meat, bones, and vegetables. Most cats were just left to their own devices to go hunt for their own food. The concept of kibble as a nutritional food source is flawed to begin with. Even when meat is the first ingredient in a kibble, it is cooked at such a high temperature, it loses most of its nutritional value. And all kibbles contain high amounts of starches. Starches are converted down to carbohydrates and sugars. It is necessary for kibbles to have starches in order to hold it together into those little dry kibbles that we are all familiar with. Also, starches make a cheap source of calories, so it's a cheap way for them to make a lot of money. According to dogfoodadvisor.com, the average dog food kibble contains between 46 and 74% of carbohydrates. And here's the kicker. Carbohydrates are actually considered non-essential nutrients for both dogs and cats, and yet it makes up the majority of the commercial kibble that we buy for them. Here's an interesting fact. Cats don't even have the taste buds necessary to taste sweetness. They can't taste sugar. All right, so now that you know how bad kibble can be for your pets, let's look at what their bodies are designed to eat: raw meat. First of all, dogs and cats are carnivores. Although dogs and cats are extremely adaptable, thousands of years of domestication have not undone millions of years of evolution. Their digestive systems are exactly like their wild counterparts, wolves and wild cats. That digestive system starts with the mouth. Just a look at the teeth, you can tell dogs and cats are both designed to be eating meat. They're made for biting, tearing, and ripping, not grinding and chewing. You may notice that their jaws do not move side to side like ours do on the bottom. That's a motion that is unique only to omnivores and herbivores. It's meant for grinding down starchy vegetables. So dogs and cats are just not designed to chew starches to begin with. Also, their digestive tracts are much, much shorter than our digestive tracts. All carnivores have short digestive tracts, and the meat moves through their system a lot faster than that of omnivores and herbivores, which have long tracts for digesting starches. So what should we be feeding our pets? Well, we should be feeding them a biologically appropriate diet that reflects a diet similar to what they would be eating in the wild. This would include raw or lightly cooked meats, raw bones, and small amounts of nutrient-rich vegetables for vitamins, minerals, and fiber. There are commercially prepared raw and fresh food diets out there for your pets, which is a great option if you're just starting out. When dogs and cats eat foods that their bodies are designed to eat, their bodies are able to function much better. They are able to better digest the nutrients that gives them energy and better able to fight diseases in their bodies. Ultimately, this could lead to a longer lifespan for our dogs and cats. And obviously, this is a big area of interest for people in the pet community. To me, a raw diet just makes sense. But surprisingly, there's a lot of opposition towards raw pet food diets in the veterinary community and by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. The FDA advises against raw pet foods because of the risk of bacterial infection. They conducted a study in which 1,000 pet food samples were tested for salmonella and listeria. In that study, 196 samples were raw pet foods, and of those, 15 raw samples came back positive for salmonella, and 32 came back positive for listeria. Of all the other samples taken, only one came back positive for salmonella, and that was a dry cat food kibble. None others tested positive for listeria. Now, this study would seem to suggest that only raw pet foods can get contaminated with salmonella and listeria. But the truth of the matter is the FDA has a long history of pet food recalls related to salmonella and listeria other than just raw foods. Dry kibbles and canned foods are just as easily susceptible to getting salmonella and listeria. And in fact, there are more cases of people getting sick with salmonella poisoning from handling kibble food than there are cases of them handling raw pet food diets. The FDA's primary concern isn't even the health of the animals. Their concern is more the health risk towards their human owners. With unhygienic food handling can lead to bacterial infections. So the same care must be given when handling raw pet food as you give when handling raw food intended for human consumption. You're not going to stick your hands into your cat's raw chicken and then stick your fingers in your mouth. So you have to remember, wash your hands, disinfect your utensils, and disinfect your workspace. This will minimize the risk of bacterial infection. And please don't let your pets lick your face. I know it's super cute to let your dog or cat come up and lick you, but it is unhygienic no matter what you feed your pets. And remember, please wash your hands after you've touched your pets before you touch your face or eat. Bacterial infection is no small thing. It is something to be aware of. It still does not justify abandoning a more natural diet for our dogs and cats. All right, so the truth of the matter is that dogs and cats are naturally able to handle more harmful bacteria in their system to begin with. Remember that short digestive tract I was talking about? Because it's so short and naturally food moves through their system quicker, it doesn't allow the harmful bacteria as much time to take hold in their gut. But that changes when you introduce high starchy foods into their diet. It actually slows down the movement of food, and it can actually cause harmful bacteria to actually take hold, which is really ironic and another good reason not to feed starchy foods to your pet. There was a recent study done, it was just released this last month actually, by New Zealand Premium Food Alliance. It studied the gut bacteria of dogs fed a balanced raw diet compared to dogs fed a balanced commercial kibble diet. And this is what they found. High meat diets are more digestible for dogs. More nutrients from high meat diets are able to be absorbed. Dogs on high meat diets had higher levels of bacteria associated with protein and fat digestion. This is good bacteria. And dogs on a high meat diet had smaller poo and healthier better fecal health. This study is exciting because it actually proves that dogs are biologically designed to digest high amounts of raw meat. And a similar study is being done by this group on cats, and that will be released later this spring. So in conclusion, the health benefits of feeding your pets a raw or fresh diet far outweigh the risks. If you start feeding your dog or cat raw and fresh foods, you're going to notice healthier skin and coat and teeth, better digestion, better weight. It's going to be easier for them to maintain a healthy weight. It can even lower the risk of cancers, and overall it will improve their quality of life. So I hope that I've at least gotten you to start rethinking your pet's diets. Today I've told you just how bad kibble diets are for dogs and cats. I've introduced you to the much more healthy and natural alternative of raw and fresh food diets. We've looked at the biggest area of concern from the opposition, and we've looked at the most exciting recent research that shows that dogs are designed to eat raw meat. So here is my call to action. I would like you to go home, pet your cat or walk your dog, and then ask yourself, am I really giving my pet the diet that they deserve? Take that first step towards improving their nutrition. It doesn't have to be hard or expensive. Go online and start researching raw and fresh diets for yourself. Don't just keep doing what you've always done just because that's what everybody else has always done. Your pet is worth the change. Thank you.